Okey-doke.
I'm setting up. Give me another minute. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. All right, we are live on YouTube. Right. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, Rabbi.
I understand, I understand you are all waterlogged. Whoop. It was raining a bit here today, but it's nice and sunny now.
I'm having a problem. Just 1 second.
Okay, no, not a problem. Just a challenge.
Yes.
Stan, I wanted to thank you guys for the card that I received.
Well, you're very welcome because you did all the work. I just have to write a card.
But that was really nice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It's apparent without you guys
What
having
happened to the sound?
put a lot in. We wouldn't have got where we are. Thank you.
It was on a minute ago before you did what you just did.
I just unmuted. Well, how about if I mute us?
Let me go back and start from the beginning. Hold on.
So how was everybody's week?
Wet.
Beyond wet.
Moist.
Moist.
Can anybody hear us? We don't have any sound.
We can hear
You
you.
hear us?
Yes.
You
Yes,
can't
I've been
hear
waiting.
us?
At all?
Mike, you
Doesn't
can't
seem
hear us?
that way.
Mike, you can't hear
Why
us?
don't you undo what you just did?
This is all I'm doing is this is the mute.
In
Unmute.
back of it.
That's right. I plugged in these speakers. They weren't fully plugged in.
Why don't you take them out and put them back?
Yeah. Today I've just been reflecting on the fact that the acronym for the Weather Service is NOAA.
No H. The H is silent.
Well, that's really good too.
Don't push them in so much.
I just
Turn it up the other way.
took it out. That shouldn't.
Mike, do you have earphones plugged in?
No, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Excellent.
But that's because I unplugged my external speakers. I don't understand that.
Huh,
It's the internal. I'm hearing you through the internal speakers.
okay. I don't know.
Doesn't have the same level of fidelity.
Well, you have to select which speakers, so perhaps they weren't selected when you had it plugged in.
But I'm always having.
It's a computer. It knows its own mind.
Right, it has a mind of its own.
So are you seeing mine, Lisa?
Doesn't this mean?
I'm not seeing yours.
They're unplugged.
Are you seeing my screen?
I'm not seeing your screen.
Okay, let's try it again.
Quite a crowd here.
Zoom. Share screen. Share sound.
Oh, we're not muted.
Are you clicking on the slide deck on the share screen?
It says, screen sharing has failed to start. Please try again later.
Oh.
That is not good. I've never seen that before. Adam, have you ever seen that?
No, but what I would do is hop out and get back into Zoom and see if that'll clear it.
Okay. I'm back in Zoom. And so you want me to go with share screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me pull up the screen that I want. So it's not.
You may need to exit completely out of Zoom, disconnect, and then reconnect.
Should I do that?
Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
We'll see you in a sec. Gotta love technology during a monsoon.
I guess.
See, I've unplugged it. And it says internal speakers, and I'm hearing it's internal speakers, it's causing this. When I plug this in, it says headphones. But it doesn't, it's never done that before.
Well,
Now I'm not unmuted. I'm back.
Hi, back.
It shows that Steve Samet is the co-host.
My bad.
Oh, okay.
No. There you
Tell
go.
me when to try to share.
There you go.
Go now.
Yeah.
Are you seeing it?
Yep.
Okay, now all I gotta do is hit present.
All
I
right.
hope that worked.
There we go.
Yes.
Yay! Woohoo!
Put everybody mute because there's a lot of noise in this thing.
I'm sorry?
Everybody needs to mute.
Yes. I've got that covered. All right. Well, we are going to begin our Shabbat service with, I believe, Shalom Aleichem. Yes. All right. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi שלחוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Is there a volunteer to light the Shabbat candles this evening? Using the candles in your home or the candles on screen?
There we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. We'll use the candles on screen. Okay. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you, Sandra. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. We continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hit'oreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri shir daberi, Kivod Adonai Alayich Nikla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikabela. Bo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzohola, toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala, bo'i chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Help me perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich mahutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv. V'yimeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam li'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma, v'yimeru amen. We continue with our call to the worship, the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach leolam va'ed, Hamevorach, Hamevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Oops. Back one more. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, yai la lai lai, ya la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. The Sabbath arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. We continue with the Tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol ata Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al givurot, umido melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Is there somebody who would like to share this prayer?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Thank you, Sue. Would somebody like to share this one?
I'll read it.
Okay. Oh, hi, Steve.
Hi. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, I'll read it. So that'll make
Okay.
me feel more
Good.
a part.
You go ahead.
You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel more presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to your prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha livarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'v'chol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. A few moments of silent reflection and prayer. By Mike Stern. Yehiyu liratzon imre fi vehegyon libi. Yehiyu liratzon imre fi vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri v'goali, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri v'goali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, O my rock, and my redeemer. So tonight begins what is known as Shabbat HaChodesh, which is when Shabbat falls, or when Rosh Chodesh falls on Shabbat, which is kind of rare. It only happens once or twice a year. So we're going to do an abbreviated Hallel. So we start with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'halel. I'm blanking for a second. Hallelu et Adonai kol goyim, shabchu kol ha'umim, ki gavar aleinu chasto, v'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki leolam chasto. Yomarna Yisrael ki leolam chasto. Yomarna Beit Aharon ki leolam chasto. Yomruna Yirei Adonai ki leolam chasto. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai berachnuchem mi beit Adonai Eli ata ve'odeka Elohei aromem memcha Hodu l'Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Praise Adonai, all you nations. Extol God, all you peoples. For great is God's steadfast love toward us. The faithfulness of Adonai endures forever. Praise Adonai, for God is good. God's steadfast love is eternal. Let Israel declare, God's steadfast love is eternal. Let the house of Aaron declare, God's steadfast love is eternal. Let those who fear Adonai declare, God's steadfast love is eternal. May the one who enters be blessed in the name of Adonai. We bless you from the house of Adonai. You are my God, and I will praise you. You are my God, and I will extol you. Praise Adonai, for God is good. God's steadfast love is eternal. We turn our thoughts now to those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit, those in our community and those close to our community. Sharon Barr, Marcy Berman, Carol Castro, Isaac Cohen, Sarah Cohen, Susan Cooley, Kay Cosby, Carolyn Dowland, Stuart Dowland, Rabbi Ellen Dreyfus, Wendy Drezick, Don Elmore, Stephen Feynman, Bernice Fischel, Justin Folk, Paula Goldstein, Michelle Harvard, Matt Kiefer, Jana Lesser, Olivia Martinez, Jean McPhee, Dan McShane, Mike McNerney, Tom Moore, Charles Patrick, Ruth Ann Paul, Jeanette Pierce, Ken Samet, Matthew Shane, Ron Stevens, April Singer, Amelia Vasquez, Susan Weber, Marcia Gorin-Wesser. Are there others for whom we're praying for healing this evening?
Kinky Friedman.
Brandon Callahan. Thank you.
Elihu Ben Haya and Sherry McShane.
Aubrey Falkowitz.
Okay.
Jacob Blake, David Fishelman, Pope Francis.
Thank you.
I've got one more. Bill Menger.
Thank you. For those who've been named and those we name in our hearts, we say, Mishaber Achavotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Hu yivarech et hacholim shalanu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim aleihem, lahachalimam ularapotam ulahachazikam, v'yishlach lahem mehira refuah shlema min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh urefuat haguf. Hashta be'agala u'bizman kariv v'nomar amen. And we join together singing the Misha Berach. Misha Berach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We turn now to our Devar Torah. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This week we have a double Torah portion. The first parsha, Matot, begins with a detailed presentation of the laws pertaining to vows and oaths, which we're going to come back to. Then we have a lengthy description of Israel's terrible and troubling battle of revenge against the Midianites. Next, Moses is approached by the tribes of Reuven and Gad, who ask to settle on the east side of the Jordan River, where they will build sheepfold for their flocks and towns for their children, which I spoke about in my Shabbat message. At first, Moses is annoyed by this request, but he relents, so long as they agree to continue to fight with the rest of Israel to conquer the land of Canaan, and he subtly reminds them to keep their priorities straight by telling them to build towns for their children and sheepfold for their flocks, taking care of their families before their material possessions. In the final parsha of the book of Numbers, Maseh, Israel stands on the banks of the Jordan River, ready to enter into the promised land. The path of their journey is reviewed in detail. The boundaries of the land of Israel and the laws governing the division of the land are described, and the instructions are given to establish cities of refuge. Finally, the book of Numbers ends with an affirmation that women may indeed inherit land, with the proviso now added that they must marry from within their own tribe, thereby keeping the land in the family. Back to vows. In Numbers chapter 30, verses 2 through 17, we read, Moses spoke to the heads of the Israelite tribe, saying, "This is what Adonai has commanded. If a householder makes a vow to Adonai or takes an oath imposing an obligation on himself, he shall not break his pledge. He must carry out all that has crossed his lips." Okay, fair enough. If a woman makes a vow to Adonai or assumes an obligation while still in her father's household by reason of her youth, and her father learns of her vow or her self-imposed obligation and offers no objection, all her vows shall stand, and every self-imposed obligation shall stand. But if her father restrains her on the day he finds out, none of her vows or self-imposed obligations shall stand, and Adonai shall forgive her, since her father restrained her. If she shall marry while her vow or the commitment to which she bound herself is still in force, and her husband learns of it and offers no objection on the day he finds out, her vow shall stand and her self-imposed obligation shall stand. But if her husband restrains her on the day he learns of it, he therefore annuls her vow which was in force, or the commitment to which she bound herself, and Adonai will forgive her. The vow of a widow or of a divorced woman, however, whatever she has imposed on herself shall be binding upon her. So too, if, while in her husband's household, she makes a vow or imposes an obligation on herself by oath, and her husband learns of it, yet offers no objection, thus failing to restrain her, all her vows shall stand, and all her self-imposed obligations shall stand. But if her husband does annul on the day he finds out, then nothing that has crossed her lips shall stand, whether vows or self-imposed obligations. Her husband has annulled them, and Adonai will forgive her. Every vow and every sworn obligation of self-denial may be upheld by her husband or annulled by her husband. If her husband offers no objection from that day to the next, he has upheld all the vows or obligations she has assumed. He has upheld them by offering no objection on the day he found out. But if he annuls them after the day he found out, he shall bear her guilt. Those are the laws that Adonai has enjoined upon Moses between a husband and his wife, as between a father and his daughter, while in her father's household by reason of her youth. Wait, what? Patriarchy and misogyny aside, this seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? If you make a promise, you have to keep it. However, the text uses two very different terms here to make a point. In the Hebrew, neder, translated as vow, is generally used to represent a promise to do something, as in, I vow to give $1,000 to tzedakah. Shavua, on the other hand, is generally translated as an oath or a promise to abstain from doing something, as in, I pledge to stop smoking. In each case, as soon as it is uttered, the promise is considered binding. A man must carry through with whatever he states, and the text does, of course, refer to men here. The passage continues to discuss what happens when a woman makes a vow or oath. In that case, an unmarried woman's father or a married woman's husband can annul her vow if they object to it as soon as they hear about it. If they do not object, then it is binding as stated, just as with a man. Of course, that was then, and this is now. And being modern people, we assume that a woman's vow carries just as much seriousness as a man's vow, and women are held to the same standard as men. The Torah clearly considers oaths and vows to be serious business. As this passage indicates, this is especially true since an oath or a vow is a pledge to God. According to the rabbis, there are 3 situations when it is acceptable for a person to make a vow, provided he or she understands the commitment involved. Number 1, if someone has a bad habit and wants to break it. Number 2, if it is possible to do a mitzvah and a person vows to fulfill it. And number 3, if a person makes a vow to God in times of distress. So why are vows taken so seriously? In the Bible, no provision is made for a vow to be absolved. In the verses I read, which comprise the heart of the Torah's teaching about vows, only vows made by a woman can be revoked. In that case, it is the father of an unmarried woman or the husband of a married woman who can annul the stated vow. The woman herself cannot. Therefore, anyone, male or female, who swears an oath or a vow must be fully prepared to go through with their pledge. However, vows are not considered bad, just serious. We have many examples of vows undertaken by biblical characters. The Brit itself, the covenant between God and Israel, is considered a form of vow. The Torah does not even seem to consider that one would make a pledge to God and then default on it. This is especially true since vows are undertaken voluntarily. One is never obligated to make a vow or an oath. However, by the time of the later biblical books, and certainly by the time of the rabbinic literature, there seems to have developed a problem with people defaulting on oaths. We see 2 new trends developing. First, people are discouraged from making any vows in general, which is why you may hear some more traditional Jews follow anything they say that could be construed as a vow or a promise with the words bli neder, no promise or vow. Second, provisions are developed for the dissolution of certain vows that are made. The most familiar, of course, is the Kol Nidre prayer, in which we ask God to absolve us of all the vows, oaths, and promises that we make to God between this Yom Kippur and next Yom Kippur, should we, after honest effort, find ourselves unable to fulfill them. We begin Yom Kippur with admitting that even our best intentions are sometimes just not enough. So, we know that we should avoid vows if possible, but we still don't know why. What is so bad about a vow? Rashi, in his commentary on this passage, notes that the word for break yakel, is related to the word yakalel, meaning to secularize or to make ordinary. Expanding on this idea, Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib of Ger suggested that from this link we may infer that the power of the spoken word is holy. Indeed, the very first chapter of Breshit tells us that God spoke and the world came into being. To break a pledge is to take something that is sacred and make it secular or even profane. We are to guard our words carefully, always being aware of their power. If we are to be holy, then we must keep our words holy. O God, keep our tongue from evil and my lips from deceit. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. As we say, Amen. And as we come to the end of the book of Bamidbar, we say, Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and together we will be strengthened. And now we turn to David for some announcements.
Okay. All right. Shabbat Shalom and Ahoy Vey. We've got a little bit of we may have, if the ARC committee could stand by, there may be an emergency meeting later this evening. Okay, thanks to Lisa, Mike, Adele, and Sandra. It was beautiful as always for this service. Okay, we actually got our act together and announced the next congregational meeting will be on August 1st at 11 a.m. Hope to see everybody there. We actually got the notice out a little early. I would call your attention to the High Holy Days sponsorship opportunities that were posted in the weekly bulletin. If you would like to be named as a sponsor for or co-sponsor for any of the activities, please step up. General donations, as the heart may prompt, are also welcome. It'll help with the budget issues, and it's for a good cause. So, yeah, I'm not sure if sponsoring the Yom Kippur service balances anything out, but you can contact Lisa on that one. Also note that the food bank, San Antonio Food Bank, is putting out an urgent call for volunteers. The key time is during the week as opposed to weekends. Excellent cause. We are supposed to make the world a better place. And if there was something during the year you're not quite sure about, also you've got 30 days to get a little volunteer time in before Yom Kippur comes up. So go for it, guys. Any assistance will be appreciated. Hey, that's about all I have, Lisa. Glad you finally got to Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Chicago weather. I grew up near there.
It was actually the Pennsylvania weather that kept me in Chicago, unfortunately. But I'm glad I'm here. We're going to continue with the concluding portion of our service, beginning with Aleinu L'Shabeach. Here we go. Whoops. There we go. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ובושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We think of those who are no longer with us, remembering for the period of Shloshim, Janice Keating, mother of Kim Martinez, observing Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death, Yetta Markman, mother of Bob Markman, Jack Fishbein, father of Wendy Drezick, Minnie Singer, father of Barbara Stern. We remember also 10 people who perished in the Holocaust: Rika Potkins, Engel Koster, Cornelia Vos, Anna Van Vuur, Rebecca Wacker, Gritja Pollack, Hilda Pollack, Betja Pollack, Branka Canis, Esther Posner. Are there others, anyone else who is observing a Yahrzeit or saying Kaddish?
Yes, Shel Vidabor.
Thank you.
Lisa Minnie Singer is the mother of Barbara Stern.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
Richard Montoya.
Thank you. Zichronam livracha, their memory is an abiding blessing as we turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitdaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. On this Rosh Chodesh, we're going to conclude our service with Birkat Halavana, the blessing for the new moon, by Debbie Friedman. Nisan Iyar Sivan Tammuz Av Elul Tishrei Cheshvan Kislev Tevet Shvat Adar Brucha HaMechadeshet Kol Eight. A sliver, a quarter, a half, and full light, revealing yourself in the darkness of night. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. This is the cycle, the rhythm of time. Days turn to weeks, into months, into years, and we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. A A sliver, a quarter, a half, and full heart, revealing the mysteries that set us apart. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. Earth sleeps in the winter, awakening spring. Light sleek kisses the summer, igniting the fall. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. A sliver, a quarter, a half, and then whole, renewed by your presence, touching the soul. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. It is new, it is now ours, we see it again. HaChodesh Hazeh Kodesh Lachen. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. A sliver, a quarter, a half, and full light, revealing yourself in the darkness of night. And we go round and round and round, and we go round and round. Before we turn to the Kiddush, I just wanted to let everybody know that for the next 2 weeks, I will be at this URJ 6 Points Creative Arts Academy camp, volunteering as faculty. So we're going to have some guest leaders next week. Rachel Gray Castro and Dorothy Martin are going to be leading the service. And the following week, Lacey Dalby and Maury Goldstein will be leading the service. So be kind to them. Adam will be running the slide deck both weeks. And Maury will be getting Zoom up and going. So I will not be here. I will not see you for the next 2 weeks. So I look forward to seeing you the week after that. So have fun. I know I will be. Is there a volunteer for Kiddush, to lead Kiddush?
I'll do it.
All right, great.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maseh b'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha B'yahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
And just because I'm in Pennsylvania does not mean that I did not bake challah, because I did. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz b'tei avon Look who I've got here. I got a little slice of deliciousness.
Oh,
I'm going to take us on.